and welcome back. It's another great day in the world.
Yeah. Hey, can you see my plant? You see it over there?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the whatever
No,
that thing is that I love Genie face.
not that. No,
Genie face. That
that.
look right me on the eye Genie do.
It kind of does. Though, I mean, I could use a genie right now.
Me too. I'm asking for 100 more wishes though. I'm gonna be the one to violate the
Well,
rules.
I love the she never left.
Well, no, because he freed her. Like he said, "Oh, you can be free," and then she was like,
Oh,
"He got all the, you know."
oh, is that what happened?
I feel like that. I watched that show. I'm the classic TV
Oh, I
person.
know. There's a channel. Do you have? Oh, what channel? I think it's called Antenna TV. I feel like we've
No,
talked
you
about
asked
this.
me that, and now it's not on. It's not on Direct TV.
Got
I don't
all
think we
the,
talked
and there's
about that
another
one.
channel that does it, but that has like classic TV because it's like I Dream of Jeannie comes on, Bewitched,
Yeah,
Hogan's
it comes
Hero.
on eight whatever channel it's on. I got the channel. I got so yeah. So yeah, but yeah, anyway, that does look like that. But I do see the plant though.
Yeah, I'm just proud that she's flourishing.
Yeah, it looks good.
Elaine gifted me with the plant for my housewarming. And at first I was like, why would you give me something I have to take
You
care of?
said, I said, what do you want? You like, well, I guess a house plant. I wasn't even thinking on it. Yes, you did. You said that. I was like, oh, okay, I could get that. He said that. He said it.
That was a glitch in the matrix that day, if that's what it said.
Because you were like, well, you didn't need anything because it wasn't like you were starting out. You were just moving on up.
But she's a nice addition to the household. But somebody was over the other day who came to my housewarming party and they were like, has Elaine seen your plant? You're taking such good care of it. Because everybody was
Oh.
kind of shocked that I've kept it alive. So now I realize that you can see it. I'm like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
I've given her a personality because I do feel like she's very dramatic. And when she needs water, she collapses on the floor. So
that's the best thing about those peace lilies is that they will tell you when they need
do.
water versus
So,
a lot of other plants. This is very hard to tell and they're prone to overwatering. But that one is no, it's
like I'm fine. And then she collapses. And then the weirdest thing though is when I'm sitting here after I put water on it and all of a sudden like it twitches.
Yeah.
That's weird. But anyway, I don't have a green thumb. It's like baby green. I don't know what color. It's not like a vibrant green. It's just a very light green.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of relevant as we continue with our Earth Month series of shows and folks that we're talking to today, because they are talking about, taking care of our planet. And one way to do that is, have a house plant. It actually is supposedly a good air filtration just to have in your house. So there's that too. Yeah. But we're talking to Leesa Carter-Jones. She's the president and CEO of the Captain Planet Foundation. And if you are our age, we're not going to tell you what that is, but you probably remember the Captain Planet show that used to come on, the cartoon. Same concept, same people, but they brought it into real life and created programming to help kids and teens across the world really take care of the planet.
Yeah, that's right. So she's going to talk to us about the work that they're doing. And if you haven't heard of them, they're based right here in Atlanta, but they're doing great work all across the country. And you'll learn how, if you are in education or you know somebody who is, or you have kids and you want to join in on the education piece that they have, you can do that. And but yeah, and at least I don't know if he still does, but you could request that Captain Planet come out, and make an appearance. We did that one time. It was pretty fun. He was a great character. He came to one of our stores. So yeah, you can see Captain Planet in person. He's not he's still alive because, he's still saving the planet.
I mean, he's a superhero, so I don't think anything happened. They may regenerate, but I don't think they actually go
Some
away.
of them don't come back on some of the Marvel ones. Now I don't keep, but there's too many of those Marvel movies. I think my daughter's seen all of them. I'm the type of person I got to go back to the beginning, and unfortunately, I would live my life watching superhero movies if I had to go back to the beginning of all the Marvel.
I have a friend who did it, and they did, I forget
time.
why. Oh, it was in the lead up to the last one that came out. I mean, they did it over several days or several weeks. So it wasn't like they sat down and, because those movies are long, like individually, those movies are long, but they did go back through, because I think there's like, if you watch them in order, at the time, I think there were 18 or something like that. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. And then you got the spinoff ones with the individual people. Like it's just too much. Let me just watch Thor.
I do like Thor.
I don't want to watch the movie. I just want to watch Thor. Side note, let's just go on and let's just
follow him on Instagram. You don't have to follow him on Instagram. Anywho, I wonder if Captain Planet's on Instagram. We'll have to take a look and see if he's. I'm
sure the foundation is.
If his planet saving activities have made it to Instagram, we'll have to see. But anyway, enjoy this conversation, and find out some interesting stuff that you can do, as we're going back into the summer months, as we can head back outside. There's some great stuff that we can do. So here we go.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Good Work Show. We are excited because we have a defender of the world on with us, Leesa Carter-Jones, who is the president and CEO of the Captain Planet Foundation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I have to admit, I was a watcher of Captain Planet.
Love it.
I remember that. I can sing parts of the theme song. I will not do it at this moment.
I think you should, just to prove
I don't think I should. But he is our hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. Those are the words.
There you go.
However, we want to talk about the foundation and what you're doing. So, Leesa, for our audience who may not be familiar with the foundation and what you do, give us a sense of your mission and the work that you're doing over at the foundation.
Yeah, so at Captain Planet Foundation, we empower young people to be problem solvers for the planet. And so we really try to be the real life manifestation of the mythology of the original cartoon, which ran in the 90s. And it basically was about 5 young people from 5 different continents who were strengthened by the elements of the earth. And when they saw something in their community, in the environment, or in the social fabric that was causing harm, they would combine their powers to fix it. And the power of that collaboration created Captain Planet. And so that's the work that we do. We train, encourage, and have programs for young people to collaborate and work together to create solutions for the environment in their community.
That's awesome. It's not there. I can't think of too many cartoons from the 90s that you can actually physically participate in. I mean,
true.
I would have wanted to be a gummy bear, but I don't think
you can participate in gummy bears, but not probably the way that.
No. I wanted to be a gummy bear or the Snorks. Those were my favorite cartoons, but I don't think I can be either one of those, but I can be a Planeteer. So talk to us a little bit about some of those programs that you have that young people can actually participate in with the foundation.
Absolutely. So we have 3 big operating programs. 2 of them are executed in partnership with K-12 educators, primarily in schools, but also there are ways for educators outside of schools. If they're with Boys and Girls Clubs or Scout troops or nature centers, they can also participate. And so one of those is called Project Learning Garden, which is our best practice program for bringing garden-based education and hands-on science learning to elementary schools. And so that provides schools with 5 growing spaces. It provides them with outdoor learning supplies and literacy supplies. It provides them with a mobile cooking cart that's got an induction burner and a Vitamix blender that lets them, harvest and taste that amazing food. And it's really intended to do a couple of things. One, it wants to help young people develop an early palate for healthy foods, which all studies show creates lifelong good eating habits. Number 2, it helps them understand systems and the science and the ideas that they're learning in the classroom. They can go outside and actually see how that is a part of the world that they inhabit and how that all connects. And then the third thing is the important life skill of knowing how to grow your own food and where food comes from. And so that's that program. And then we have another program called Project Hero, which is also for K-12, and it is really intended to help catalyze the empathy, the natural empathy that young people have for species, threatened and endangered species specifically, and threatened and endangered ecosystems. And it encourages them to study and then take action on behalf of locally threatened, endangered, and threatened species. So, a lot of times when people hear about endangered species, they're like, oh, we're going to save the polar bears. And that's great. Like, the polar bears do need saving, but there's also a lot of critters right in your own backyard that need saving. And so we encourage young people to really put some of that work locally into helping. And so those are really fun program. They get to go on quests and they get to create projects, and then there's small grants for them to be able to actually implement those projects on behalf of those ecosystems and species. And then the third program is called the Planeteer Alliance, and that's really direct training work with young people who are trying to shift the systems so that we can have a climate friendly and livable future. And so we teach them how to do policy change. We teach them how to work with corporations and businesses on supply chain shifts. And we teach them how to communicate the science behind the threat so that they can build peer support and community support for change.
Nice, nice. So has there been maybe a renewed interest in the work that you all are doing as people were at home and, dabbling into gardening and going into their backyards, and, maybe their kids have been familiar with your programming and say, oh, I did this at school. Did you see more of that, or are you seeing still continued more of that as we've been at home a little bit more in the last couple of years?
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of adoption of our programs for remote learning because they were really easy to do. And they also encouraged people to be outside, which was, a very sort of pandemic friendly and encouraged behavior. So we had a lot of participation that way. And then I think also the pandemic gave people an opportunity to really assess and consider the world that they were living in, the way that they were living in the world, and what they were leaving behind. And so there has been a lot of people who have been interested in, participating in change making and really thinking about the systems that need to be undone and rebuilt in a way that it makes us possible to have a just and equitable future for everybody. So it's that was maybe the only silver lining to that whole pandemic, was that shift.
Yeah.
Cool. So how do kids respond? So I mean, the show hasn't been on for what I don't think hasn't been on for a while, but how do kids respond now to the idea of Captain Planet? Like, before you get there, do they know, are they familiar with it? And then how do they respond once they kind of hear about what the programs are and what the story is?
They respond to the idea of a superhero. I think that that's just like so common for young people. And so they're not sure why or who he is necessarily, but they know that he's a superhero, and they sort of figure it out because he's called Captain Planet. But it's funny because we actually have a new mask that's much more contemporary. We used to have this really sort of terrifying, like it was a pretty, it wasn't malleable at all. It wasn't latex, you know, it was just like this hard mask with a zipper up the back. And I have to say that did terrify some small children when they were just like, why is he also Frankenstein? Like they were super freaked out by it. But no, they love Captain Planet. And you know, it is available for download. So, you know, some Planeteers who grow up on it have brought down the digital downloads and played them for their kids, and they just love it. And mostly we just hear people saying, why in the world have they not rebooted this series? Because it's you know, more timely than ever.
Yeah. So I would vote for that. You know, and just remember, we had Captain Planet out at one of our stores. So we both work at Goodwill, and we built a lead store. It was our first lead store, and Captain Planet, you know, he decided to make an appearance on, you know, he diverted from saving the world that day, just to spend some time with us as we opened up and pass out some seeds to some of our shoppers who were coming in for the first time so they could go home and plant something. But we enjoyed him. But he didn't scare anybody that day. He was a great superhero that day.
It's mostly the kindergartners who are like, why is there a zipper up his head? But yeah, it makes me laugh. I don't know.
Yeah, but that I think that would, you know, that, hey, I would advocate for that. But I think the work that you're doing too it's easy enough to grasp, and you've got schools all across the country, right? So tell us about, it's not just here in Georgia, but you're expanding, and the reach of the foundation is going just beyond sort of what we could do here locally.
Yeah, for sure. So the Project Learning Garden is in 26 states. Project Hero is available in all states. And the Planeteer Alliance, we've actually trained young people from over 90 countries. So that is very broad. And it's, you know, I think that there's a lot of strength in young people knowing that the problems that they're having in their own homes, communities, and countries is not unique. And to meet and exchange ideas and partner with counterparts across the globe, it has an incredible developmental benefit and mental health benefit. And yeah, so that's been one of the most lovely things, is to see those natural collaborations. And I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and it was like, oh, that's like the actual show. Like you guys literally recreated the show. And I was like, oh my God, we kind of did. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic. So if people are listening and they want to learn how to get involved, if they want to connect, if there's teachers that are listening and they want to bring it into their classrooms, or, you know, summer is coming, I guess. I think this weather means that summer is coming. You know, whether it's people who are running summer camps or parents want to do something with their kids while they're out of school, how do they find information about projects or things that they can do right in their own backyards, or how can they bring these things into their classrooms?
So if you go to captainplanetfoundation.org, just spell it all out. Our website has lots of information about our programs. Some of them you can simply begin, like you can sign up to join the Planeteer Alliance if you're an individual young person who really wants to be a change maker and build skills and find collaborators across the globe. The Project Hero is available both for K-12 teachers, and they can register for an account that gives them on their screen, they almost get like a teacher's workbook, you know, like when the kids have the textbook and the teachers have their workbook. So by being a registered user, which is free to do on Project Hero, it provides them with that view. But any person this summer, if they want to do a quest for pollinators, or they want to do a quest for soil, or a quest for wolves across the Rocky Mountain West, they could go on and they can just do Project Hero. They can go on a quest on their own. And there's also a way to, you know, sort of contact program managers on the website. And so I would encourage people to do that. It's a small form, and I know people hate website forms, but honestly, it gets you to the right person within the organization and who can actually help and talk that through with you. So hopefully we can come to your school.
The The quest sounds kind of cool. You were saying, like, I remember, even though I grew up in Florida, but we did take like our summer trip. We went to Colorado, we went to the Rocky Mountains. So that would have been like a cool thing that we could have done, 1,000 years ago, if it existed. But, I was, just thinking about that, if parents or whatever are taking trips and they're going to different parts of the country, to be able to look at some of those things. And that's an activity. And for the most, I would assume it's free, that they could do as a part of a vacation that doesn't cost anything, but it's something that they could get out and do. So that sounds like a really timely thing that folks can participate in. Or if they're not going anywhere, they can do some right there in their own backyard.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. The quests are really fun, and they're really informative, and they, you can choose to do which parts of it you want to do, and you can skip around. It works beautifully on a handheld device. So, you obviously don't have to be at a laptop. And yeah, it's great. We would love to have people in there.
Fantastic. Well, Leesa, it's been a pleasure. Congrats on all the work that you and the team are doing, and saving the planet, and just providing all of this and resources and opportunities and educational things for our young people, and for those of us who, we're not that young anymore, but we can still participate in this and make sure that we spread the word about Captain Planet and the work you're doing. So appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you so much. And yes, we do say our programs are both for the young and the young at heart. So please feel free.
Awesome. Well, thanks so
much. Thank you.